village of Vertbad is a ruin on the edges of the Reichwald. It began with livestock found twisted and hollowed, their eyes plucked and tongues missing. Then came children. One by one they vanished. No blood, no screams, just empty beds and claw marks on the windowsills. Father Jurgen, the Sigmarite priest, led a torchlit hunt into the woods. They found a troll's lair beneath a collapsed shrine, its walls slick with bile and bone. The creature was waiting, a grotesque mass of fungus, rock and flesh, its mouth stitched with rusty nails, its eyes glowing with stolen souls. Jurgen struck it with his hammer, but the troll did not bleed. It laughed, a wet gurgling sound, and it tore through the men, leaving none alive. Some villagers fled, others stayed and barred their homes. All that is known is that when the Graf's patrol entered Vertbad a week after Jurgen's search, there was nothing but bones and empty buildings. From The Curse of Vertbad by Holger 2105 IC. I think it's fair to say that trolls are nothing short of terrifying. Indeed, in the real world, trolls have their origins within Scandinavian folklore. They are revered as creatures of great malevolence and spite. Now, due to the bright colours that the heavy metal team push on trolls, they're kind of perceived as an opportunity to have a bit of fun and use a bit more colour and enjoy yourself while being an Orcs and Goblins player. But I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to paint trolls as something really gritty, with an element of horror, something that you would imagine merging into kind of a wet cave. So, join me and let's paint some grimdark trolls. Firstly, for the base coat, I'm going to be using Rhinox hide, but any dark brown will do really. Once we've given the entire model a nice coating with that, I'll use some texture paints, so specifically Sterling Mud and Typhus Corrosion. The reason why I'm doing this is to generate more texture so that I can really pronunciate that rocky effect later. Next I use Gorthor Brown to dry brush all areas of leather. Once that's done, it's onto the skin, so any kind of dark, deep sea green or any kind of option such as that is perfect for this, and I'll just cover the entire skin of the model. Before getting too stuck into the skin though, I wanted to do the rock that the model here is holding. Again, I really wanted to differentiate this between the skin texture and the rocks. It's like he's tearing apart something from the civilized world. So I based with Steel Legion Drab and then dry brushed with Baneblade, and then a lighter dry brush with Rakarth Flesh. With that done, we are back to the skin, so we're going to be using the Drab to do lots of little dots on the back. We're also going to do this on the front though. Just all these little dots. The texture paint's fantastic for this. We then take Grey Seer or just a light grey and again carry on these dots. It's very sporadic around the back and the front. Once we're happy with both of these paints, we can combine them and also bring in our original grey and start tapping that all over the model for a good bit of variation. Now, this is clearly not the final result and it doesn't look anything such as grimdark or realistic, so don't get too upset, because what we're going to do is two separate dry brushes. The first one being with Baneblade Brown, so a nice light brown all over the model. And then the second, which is a Zenithal dry brush, so only from the top down, and we're only dry brushing the real high parts of the model. We use a straight white for that. That really starts to tie it in. Ready for the final stage on the skin, which is using a bit of Nuln Oil, classic, to just coat the entire model. Where detailing is concerned, I prioritised on three key areas. The first one is on the skin, on the faces, which I mixed a bit of Bugman's Glow with the kind of skin mix that we already had. and that just gave us a bit more variation in the faces. The second effect is on the bone, so you know, the bones and the teeth on all the models. Similar to the stone, I went through the browns, going through Gorthor, Baneblade, into Rakarth flesh, and just stippling up lighter and lighter with these paints as I did the effect. You could also use an ink or a contrast paint at the base of the teeth and bones, just to further that kind of contrast and richness of colours. The third area of detail I worked on was the Corax white for the eyes. This is just a simple drop for all of the eyelid. Now, I'll admit now, this is the furthest that I will go when doing like details such as eyes while recording, because otherwise I will just mess it up. It's very difficult having the camera in front of me. Next, a dot of Steel Legion brown, like so. From here, I've got the iris, so I use a bit of contrast red paint, very thin down on the eye. From there, I get my detail brush and I wipe it away just on the centre of the eye, so it looks like the eyes are bloodshot. This is a really good effect for trolls, and something else that I'll show you now is what it looks like once I've got the ability to add a nice yellow dot and then a tiny black dot in the centre of there. Again, use Avalon Sunset and Abaddon Black, but any yellow and any black is fine. Finally, Garagak Sewer is a fantastic paint for tying in leathers and really kind of making them, well, look like leathers. So I'll be using that all over all of the bits of the model that I want to be leather. Then with that done, it's on to basing. I use the same grey as the skin for any flagstones. I'll then use brown, just a really cheap one from Hobbycraft, and again, really cheap, I'll use instant filler to create a snow effect. And with that, I think these are done. Shall we have some cinematic shots? Yes, if you were wondering, I did paint this Dwarf Slayer purely for the purposes of this video. That said, I do fancy a few more of those later. However, let's talk about these trolls. I am over the moon with the way that they've come out. They're as gritty and grimy as I want them to be. Thinking about all the progress we've made before, I'm really happy with how the army's come along. So we're now at 1,500 points, which is a bit of a milestone. For that, we finally got a real bit of scale. So with Orcs, Goblins, Trolls, Black Orcs, it's everything that I promised from the first episode. So I'm really happy with this effect that I've been able to achieve with these. They are as grimdark / realistic as I wanted to achieve. And you might be surprised to know that this is actually a terrain trick for painting varied brickwork. And on that subject, I've got a lot of terrain to paint, so that will have to be next. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and a comment, and please subscribe so that you don't miss any future updates. I'll see you on the next one.